Hey everybody, big news in the quantum computing world. We're going to talk about that and talk about what Q Day is. And it's really big news. Quantum computing is officially here. So this is everything that you need to know. If you haven't had a chance to, please subscribe to this channel, click the bell to turn on all notifications. And if you're interested, head on over to dailyrenegade.com and get a membership. If you get a membership there, you get all of our full videos that are ad-free. I've got a lot of people every video I do complaining about the ads in the videos and stuff, and it's like, well, that's how I let people know what we have available, and apparently I'm the only one that's not allowed to do it. So I'm kidding, of course. Everybody's going to complain about everything, but if you do want ad free, I do make that available over at dailyrenegade.com. But okay, let's get right into this. So back in the 1960s. The electronic calculator kicked off a tech revolution that's been growing ever since. You could think of it as a starting point for computers as we know them now. But over the years, especially recently, we've seen some jaw-dropping advances in how we handle information. Stuff that used to sound like science fiction, like, super smart machines or tiny devices that can do really big things. This has actually come true. Our gadgets have shrunk in size, but it's grown in what they can do. And the old school computers that we used to have, have gotten way faster and way more powerful. But now we're stepping into something even bigger called quantum computing. This is not just an upgrade to the computers that we've had. It's like a whole new ballgame. So you can imagine it like switching from a horse and buggy to a rocket ship. Quantum computing uses some really mind-bending science, but don't worry, we'll get into the details. And I'll explain it in a way that hopefully, will make sense. It's about tiny particles acting in weird, super fast ways, basically, to process information at speeds that we could barely dream of before. Well, experts say it's going to turbocharge things like artificial intelligence, which is basically like, you can think of it as computers that act almost human, and data analytics, which is just a fancy way of saying sorting through huge piles of information to find patterns. So for somebody into Bible prophecy, this might ring bells about how knowledge is supposed to explode in the end times, like in Daniel 12:4, where it says people will run to and fro and knowledge will increase. Well, quantum computing could be a part of that, solving problems so tough they've stumped us forever and pushing us into the future faster than we thought possible. So I know quantum computing probably sounds mysterious, and it honestly kind of is. It's tied to something called subatomic physics, which is all about how things work on the tiniest levels, like smaller than atoms, and atoms are the building blocks of everything. So unlike regular computers that use simple on-off switches, which are called bits, which are just ones and zeros basically, quantum computing uses something called qubits, and these qubits are special because they can be in a 1, a 0, or even both at the same time. And that's thanks to a weird quantum idea called superposition. So you can picture it like spinning a coin in the air, and it's heads and tails all at once until it lands. Now, here's where it gets even weirder, though. Qubits can also be connected in a way called quantum entanglement. And that means if you change one qubit, another one, even if it's far away, can change instantly too, like they're linked by some sort of invisible thread. It's not magic, it's just really strange science. So instead of the plain old bits that we're used to, quantum computers use these qubits to crunch information in ways regular computers can't even touch. Gartner, a big research group, describes it as using these quirky atomic states to do calculations. So for someone into prophecy, this might make you think of how fast knowledge is growing, like the Bible hints at in the last days. Regular computers use ones and zeros like a yes or no answer, but quantum computers with atoms that can be yes or no at the same time take it to a whole new level. It's like the difference between a simple yes-no prophecy and one packed with layers of meaning all happening at once. You could kind of think of it like that. By the way, I do want to mention real quick, too, that if you would like the show notes to this show. I do make that available at dailyrenegade.com, and I also make that available on my Substack, joshpeck.substack.com. So make sure you check that out. The Substack also has my audio only. I take the audio and just make podcasts, just audio only podcasts out of them. So if you just wanted the audio and you didn't want to sit and watch something, but you want something while you're driving in the car or something like that, that's a great place to go. So links to that, if you're watching on YouTube, links to that are in the description below. So over the last few years, scientists have made some incredible leaps in quantum research. This is stuff that's turning what used to be science fiction dreams into real life tools. Computers are getting extremely fast and accurate, and it's all thanks to these breakthroughs. So just recently, a team at the University of Oxford pulled off something amazing. They wirelessly sent a quantum algorithm, you could think of it as a set of instructions for a computer, between two separate quantum processors. Now, these weren't just any machines. They teamed up using their special quantum abilities to form a single powerhouse that could solve problems neither could crack alone. How'd they do it? It's through quantum entanglement. So quantum computing itself is getting easier to pull off too. It's basically here now. It is here now. Scientists are figuring out how to build these machines more simply and make them grow bigger and better, what they're calling scaling. So there's two main ways that they're doing this: the gate model and quantum annealing. The gate model is like building a super flexible computer with quantum gates that tweak qubits, the quantum version of bits, to run all kinds of calculations. Quantum annealing, on the other hand, is more like a specialist. It's great at finding the best solution to tricky problems by testing tons of options all at once, kind of like finding the lowest valley in a hilly landscape. Now, both methods have seen a lot of progress in just the past year. Annealing systems are already out there solving real-world puzzles. So think, optimizing delivery routes or cracking tough math problems. No one gets into full-time ministry to make money. At least no one should. Given that, Daily Renegade accepts donations from those who care to help keep us going. Now, because Daily Renegade does not want to be told by the government what we can and can't say, we're not 501c3, so your donations are not tax deductible, but that's not why you're giving anyway, to get something back for yourself. Speaking of which, we here are never going to promise that if you donate, God will reward you with even more financial success. We're not about making promises for God here. But what I can promise is your donations are very much appreciated and help the continuation of everything we do here at Daily Renegade to reach the world with the truth of the Bible. Also, as many of you know, my son Nathan has had some very serious medical issues that we are treating with good, all-natural and holistic remedies. But of course, those are very expensive and are not covered by insurance, so your donations help go towards his health care as well. If you can't afford to donate, you can always donate your time in prayer, which is far more valuable anyway. Let's be serious. So pray for our wisdom, pray for God's guidance for us, and that we never lose focus on what's really important, which is using Daily Renegade as a light of truth that the world so desperately needs right now, especially in these times. As always, thank you so much for your generosity, and I pray God blesses you greatly. Gate models, which could handle even bigger tasks, are coming along faster than anyone expected to. So for someone watching for signs of the times, this might feel like the world's gearing up for something big, technology racing ahead at a pace that echoes those ancient predictions about the end days being full of mind-blowing advancements. It's amazing to think how far we've come, and it's all happening right now. So Microsoft and Google are pushing the boundaries of what computers have been able to do. So Microsoft has just rolled out something called the Majorana 1 processor. This is a really big deal because it's a new kind of quantum chip that could speed up the arrival of super powerful computers. They're using tiny particles called Majorana particles, which are kind of like opposites of each other. Imagine twins that cancel each other out if they meet. And if you've been following me for any length of time, I talked about Majorana particles years and years and years ago, and their capabilities and what they might be able to do in the future. And here we are. Here we are. we're here. So if any of you remember that, if you've been following me long enough, and I told you if they ever make a breakthrough in this, I would report it to you guys. Well, here we are. That's what's happening today. It's amazing. It's amazing thinking back of just imagining years ago what could be done with these Majorana particles, and now we're here. It's just phenomenal. It's crazy to think about. We're living in interesting times. But Microsoft gets a bunch of electrons, which are those little charged bits inside of atoms, to act together like one big particle. So this teamwork makes the qubits more stable and easier to scale up. And again, scaling up just means making more of them work together smoothly. Microsoft says one of these chips could eventually outdo every computer in the world combined. Now, meanwhile, Google's been at this quantum game for a decade, and they just showed off their latest chip, which is called Willow. And their approach is different, but it's just as impressive. Willow uses more qubits and has gotten way better at fixing mistakes that happen during calculations. So in quantum computing, errors are a big headache because qubits are really, really sensitive. But Google's figured out how to use extra qubits to catch and correct those slip-ups. They're calling it a breakthrough because it makes their quantum systems more reliable. I've talked about quantum computing before, and I said, I think it's going to be a long ways away before this is available to just anybody because of how sensitive these quantum states are. Like anything can mess these up. But I didn't realize how fast they were going to be able to fix this, and now they are. So I have to change my mind on that. I don't think that we're that far off. I mean, we're basically here now So Google says Willow can do a specific math problem in under 5 minutes, while today's fastest supercomputer, like the Frontier in Tennessee, that would take 10 septillion years. That's a 10 with 24 zeros after it. Both Microsoft and Google are showing us that quantum computing is not some far off dream anymore. It's basically here now. Microsoft's betting on stable, scalable qubits with their Majorana trick, while Google's piling on more qubits and cracking the error problem with Willow. Either way, we're talking about machines that could solve stuff that we can't even wrap our heads around, like inventing new medicines or decoding mysteries of the universe. It's a wild time to be watching this unfold, especially if you're wondering how it all fits into God's big plan. There's other advancements, though, too. It's weird how all this just exploded at the same time. But Japan just flipped the switch on something called RAMI, which they're calling the world's first hybrid quantum supercomputer. So they've taken a 20-qubit quantum machine built by a company called Quantinuum and hooked it up to Fugaku, which is a supercomputer already ranked 6th fastest globally. This hybrid setup uses Quantinuum's special trapped ion design. And this is where tiny charged particles are held in place to act as qubits. Combining that with Fugaku's raw speed means they can tackle problems like in physics or chemistry that regular supercomputers would grind over for absolute ages. Now, meanwhile, Intel's working on its own quantum project, aiming to make quantum computers that can actually be mass-produced. Again, I was wrong. I thought we were way far away from this, but apparently not. They're using, and it's interesting that there's all these different methods to make these more stable to be mass produced. So, Intel is using silicon, that's the same stuff in your phone's chips, to build what they call silicon spin qubits. Now, these are smaller and packed tighter than other types, like the superconducting qubits that Google uses, or the trapped ion ones from Quantinuum. Intel's focusing on 3 big goals: testing tons of these qubits at once, making sure that they work the same every time for reproducibility, and cramming more into a tiny space called qubit density. So this could lead what they call fault-tolerant quantum computers, which is basically quantum computers that don't mess up so easily. Then there's IBM, which just rolled out something called IBM Quantum System 2. This isn't just one machine, it's a modular setup, meaning they can keep adding pieces to make it bigger and better. You can think of it as like Lego blocks for quantum computing. Their latest chip has 156 qubits, and it's 50 times faster than their last one. Scientists are saying it's finally strong enough to do real practical research like studying molecules or cracking codes. IBM's been building quantum data centers too, so this isn't just something in the lab. It's heading towards real world use. So again, for someone watching Prophecy, that speed and scalability might hint on how fast things could change when this technology really takes off. Then there's over at D-Wave Quantum, they just tested their new Advantage 2 processor, packing over 4,400 qubits. Now that is an absolute monster compared to Ramey's 20 qubits. They say it solves problems 25,000 times faster than their old system and gives answers 5 times better for precise tasks. It's shown in tests for things like optimization, which is just finding the best solution fast, artificial intelligence, and even materials science, beating their old setup in 99% of tough logic problems. D-Wave's approach is to use quantum annealing. Now, finally, Quantinuum has a new 56-qubit trapped ion quantum computer. So last year, their H series hit a huge milestone, 3 nines, meaning their 2-qubit operations are 99.9% accurate across the board. So that's just a fancy way of saying that they've made their qubits extremely reliable, which is key for building quantum computers that don't flop mid-calculation, that fault tolerance thing again. Hey everyone. Concerning the economically unstable times that we live in, it is a great idea to convert some of your savings into real money. Now, there is a big difference between real money and what we call money, which is actually currency. So our dollar is currency, which fluctuates. Real money, like silver, is a store of value over time. The best way to think of it is like this. If you had saved $1,000 in cash back in the late 60s, the late 1960s, that $1,000 would still be $1,000 today, but it would buy you significantly less today due to inflation. Now, if you saved that same $1,000 in silver back in the 1960s, it would be around $28,000 today. So one of the best ways to protect your purchasing power is in real money, more specifically, silver. Now, you can buy and have the metal shipped discreetly to your door, and what most people don't know is that you can actually convert your IRA or even your 401k into physical silver rather than having all your life savings tied up in the paper fiat system, which is, of course, subject to hyperinflation. So go to dailyrenegade.com right now and click on the Cornerstone Asset Metals banner and sign up to get your free silver report. One of the financial experts will speak with you and find out the best way to protect your savings going forward in these uncertain times. You can also click on the link in the description below that goes directly to cornerstoneassetmetals.com. Make sure you tell them that Josh Peck at Daily Renegade sent you. It is time to stop trusting the evil beast financial system of the world and protect your assets today. This could open doors for practical uses like in finance or industry where precision really matters. So there you have it there. Japan's Ramey mixing quantum and supercomputing, Intel's scalable silicon bits, IBM's modular quantum leap, D-Wave's 4,400 qubit beast, and Quantinuum's ultra precise 56 qubit machine. It's like the world is racing to unlock a new level of power. And again, for those thinking of end times, it sure feels like we're living in a moment where knowledge is multiplying at warp speed. So what would a quantum computing world look like? Well, a company called McKinsey and Company predicts that by 2035, quantum tech could pump up to $2 trillion into the economy. One area where quantum tech is already showing up is in something called quantum measuring and sensing. And this is about using tiny particles to detect super small changes in things like time, gravity, or magnetic fields. And you're already seeing this in real life. It's already here. So think of navigation tools that helps ships or planes find their way, or MRI machines in hospitals that can look inside your body. These quantum sensors are so sensitive that they can pick up the tiniest shifts using barely any any energy or matter. Now, quantum tech is set to shake up a ton of science fields: biology, chemistry, physics, math, you name it. But it's not just for scientists. It's going to hit industries that we all care about, like healthcare, banking, communications, and even cybersecurity. Um, it'll touch commerce, energy, and even space exploration. Basically, anywhere that data matters, which is everywhere these days, this is going to affect. More specifically, quantum computing could revolutionize things like materials science, just making stuff stronger, lasers, better tools or weapons, biotechnology, tweaking life itself. And my gosh, I mean, if you watch Ken Johnson's stuff ever, he talks about a lot in the Dead Sea Scrolls that there's and in other prophecies and stuff that there's prophecies about Nephilim medicine coming back into the world. Well, this could absolutely do it. They could use quantum computers in biotechnology and change DNA, create all sorts of hybrids. I mean, there's really no limit. And also genetic sequencing, which is mapping DNA very fast. All of this stuff, all of these industries are going to be majorly affected by these advancements in quantum computing. It's also poised to boost communications and real-time data analytics. So imagine like crunching mountains of info instantly. Plus, it's going to turbocharge artificial intelligence and this thing called the metaverse, which is like a virtual world that you can step into. So picture AI that thinks almost human-like, or digital realms that feel real. Quantum's speed could make that happen sooner than we think. I mean, we're basically here now, and there's a lot of dangers. Regardless what scientists want to say about it, they always present these things through rose-colored glasses. They always do that. Here's all the wonderful things we can do about it, but what about the dangers? Well, countries like the United States are getting worried because hackers might be grabbing data right now, just waiting for quantum computers to become strong enough to unlock it. And that's that same crazy speed that lets quantum computers solve tough problems fast could also be turned against us, specifically against cybersecurity. So think about it. The systems keeping our banks, power grids, and other critical stuff safe could be at risk. It is at risk. Today's top encryption, like RSA 2048, which protects a lot of our online secrets, would take a regular computer 1 billion years to crack. But a working quantum computer, it could theoretically bust it open in under 2 minutes. And that's a scary jump, and it's got a lot of people talking about something called Q-Day. Q-Day. That's the moment when a big, powerful quantum computer uses a special trick called Shor's algorithm to break through all the major public key systems we rely on. Those are the digital locks based on super hard math problems like factoring huge numbers. If that happens, a lot of what we trust to stay private could suddenly be wide open. So basically, cryptographers, those are the experts who design the digital locks, keeping our online world safe, call Q-Day the moment when a supercomputer gets powerful enough to break through the encryption that we rely on every day. And encryption, it's like a secret code that protects stuff like your bank account, emails, government secrets, when it's sent over the internet. So the systems most at risk are the ones built on math involving huge prime numbers. Those are numbers only divisible by 1 in themselves, like 2, 3, or 17, but way bigger. The problem is, those are the exact systems holding up almost all our digital communication right now. So when Q-Day hits, and it's coming soon, it's going to be a big deal, like an earthquake shaking up the tech world. Businesses, especially internet companies and banks, will feel it really hard because their secure systems could suddenly be wide open. Governments might struggle to keep their secrets. And for regular folks like you and me, that could mean our personal privacy. Think things like passwords, messages, online shopping, really anything. All of that gets put at risk. It really sounds like something out of Revelation describing a world where everything's tracked or exposed. So because of all this, leaders in politics and tech are starting to wake up to the danger. They're realizing that they need to figure out how to switch to new kinds of encryption that quantum computers can't crack, something called quantum resistant cryptography. But this is not a simple fix. It's a messy, complicated process to redo the whole system without everything falling apart in the meantime. It'd be like trying to change the locks on every door in a city while people are still coming and going. So for those watching the signs of the times, Q-Day could be one of those moments where technology takes a leap that changes how the world works, maybe even paving the way for some of those big shifts that the Bible hints at in the last days. So we're definitely heading into this new quantum era, and it's coming faster than most expected. It's showing up in different forms, whether it's chips like Google's Willow or hybrid setups like Japan's Raymi, and it's not stopping there. Quantum tech is going to team up with artificial intelligence, and that combo could change everything. So imagine AI that's already smart getting a turbo boost from quantum speed. It could solve problems or make decisions at a pace that we can't even fathom. A quantum powered world could shake up things big time, maybe even in ways that tie into the chaos or control that we see in Bible prophecies. You know, it is exciting, but it's also like a heads up to pay attention as this tech rolls out. And unfortunately, there's really not a whole lot that we can do about it. I personally am gonna try to. Well, it's always good to have investments in a lot of other things. So I like physical stuff. Like I've talked about Cornerstone a lot. It's a Christian company run by Terry Saka, who we've had on several times. Quantum computing can't, if you have physical silver, quantum computing can't touch that. It could touch your bank account. It absolutely could affect that, but it can't touch physical silver. So I think it's a great idea to get involved in that and put your savings, retirement, 401k, anything, you know, roll that into silver. You can do that. Cornerstone is the only company that I know and trust. I've been working with them for years now. It's the only one. There are even Christian gold and silver companies that will absolutely rip you off. That they say they're Christian, but they give you these insane markups. And Cornerstone's the only one that I actually trust, and that's why I don't advertise a whole bunch of companies on here. You know, I have to believe in it and I have to know it. But yeah, I've been with them for years. They're great. Cornerstone Asset Metals. The link is in the description below if you're interested in that. But beyond that, you know, pray, keep your eyes on what's going on. You got to be real careful with how a lot of these tech people or scientists or whatever, how they talk about this, because they're only going to tell you the good stuff. They're only going to say we can, you know, all of the good things they can do, and they're not going to tell you what horrible abuses can come from this. So be prepared, stay safe. Just wanted to give you that quick update. If there's any other developments, I will let you know. But again, the best place to go is dailyrenegade.com for all of that. Thank you all so much for joining me on this little update video. And until next time, love you all. Take care and God bless. You know, if you are a Bible-believing Christian who opposes the kingdom of darkness trying to run the world right now, then you are a renegade to the satanic system. We here at Daily Renegade wear that badge proudly. So if you're a renegade as well, head on over to dailyrenegade.com right now and get a membership today. You'll get our full catalog of Sharpening Report episodes and Daily Renegade update videos on topics such as Bible prophecy, science, technology, the Nephilim, aliens, and so much more. All of our episodes at Daily Renegade are early access, so as a member, you'll get the videos before anyone else does. Daily Renegade also offers videos not available anywhere else due to social media censorship. We also have a community page only for members where we can all fellowship together without fear of censorship. It's basically the best of Facebook and YouTube rolled into one without any of the garbage. Memberships are only $10 a month or $100 a year, and if you can do it, I suggest getting the $100 a year because it's cheaper in the long run, and essentially you get 2 months for free that way. So come join our family of renegades at dailyrenegade.com right now. The link is in the description below, and we'll see you there.